This week, I am joined by the beautiful, the amazing, the extraordinary Is Siithembs, and we are going to be speaking about everything rainbow. This week's episode is called The Rain and the Rainbow, and we're going to be talking about going against conformity and just letting all your colors shine. So before I get excited and just get away with myself, I want to hand over to Is Siithembs to introduce yourself to the peoples. Hi.
I'm just like, the way you started the whole segment. I'm like, girl, only love fire. That is how you say hello to the people. I'm going to say hello, Molweni. I am Siithembs, darling. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. The way you've thrown it so beautifully. All about rainbow energy, celebrating a rainbow. Rainbow is family. And just this perspective of everything that I do is just an eye to color and being the color itself.
I love it. I actually don't know why you didn't introduce us, because you've got your own YouTube channel. So everybody, welcome back to the channel, low-key.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel where everything is absolutely rainbow.
I've been wanting to say that for so long. Welcome back to my channel. But let's get into it. I've really been wanting to chat to you just because you're such an extraordinary human being. But I think just in running my page, I've become incredibly conscious of the fact that I am sharing and unpacking self-love through the perspective of a heterosexual Black woman. And I really wanted to broaden the lens through which self-love is unpacked and is interrogated. And I thought that you would be a fantastic person to just shed some light and insight on what self-love means to you and how self-love has played itself out in your journey. So I just want to ask you and just start you off, because you are literally the rainbow guy, the rainbow. So I just wanted to hand over to you and just ask you, what does the rainbow family mean to you? Why is it so important that you advocate for the rainbow community? And where does self-love play itself in that?
Well, starting from, thank you so much, by the way, for the question. And just the whole topic of self-love and us just delving into looking at and on a different spectrum and a different eye. When it comes to me, and this is what I would love for everyone to actually, it's not even, rainbow is energy, rainbow is family. That is celebrating color in many spectrum beyond the rainbow that people would love to see when they see a queer individual. Yes, of course, the color of our flag is rainbow, but for me as a personally, as an individual, because of the different battles that I've had to go through, it's looking at one and seeing a different human being beyond them being queer, and them having a different contribution to space, to time, to the people they are around, and having to delve deeper into all of our differences. The rainbow family, which is people blatantly know it as the queer community where I belong to, is just the minority of that perspective. Of course, even inside that family, everything is colorful there, because one might think that we know each other and we really don't know each other. Everyone has their different story and their own personal perspective, but it's adding everyone, it's adding you, my love. You and I, even in this conversation, we're two different human beings, and beyond my sexuality, beyond my perspective, you have your own. And even if it's not just sexuality that is of difference to us, it's also just saying that I need to delve deeper into who you are beyond a perspective that I've made, derive who you are. You know what I'm saying? When I give the time and you get to share your story with me, obviously I'll get to share mine, and I get to work with the human and the color that is, rather than separating myself because of the group and who I
100%.
supposedly love. Do you know what I'm saying? It's also like, let's say as a person that comes from the queer community, I'm not even in a relationship for people for a person to look at me and make up everything about my life purely because of who I'm actually attracted to. And it's like, for me personally, that is the last thing in my head right now. So rainbow is family, it's you, it's everyone, and it's just the story within everyone around me.
Oh, I love that. I love your emphasis on the fact that sexual orientation isn't the defining point of the rainbow family. And I think that's something that we miss often when we talk about the LGBTQI plus community. And I think that it's important to note that, the rainbow family is a marginalized group in society that has gone through so much and continues to go through so much. And I think that's why the title of our segment is The Rain and the Rainbow, because even though, you know, the rainbow family represents everything beautiful, it represents an overcoming, a celebration, it's important to recognize that on the other end of that, there is a lot of rain that still exists, that, you know, we still need to address as a society. So I just want to ask you, what are some of the challenges as a member of the rainbow family that you've experienced in loving yourself, and how has society played its role in that?
Loving yourself. The challenge with loving yourself is not even understanding yourself first. I think it would always go back to that, because with you not understanding who you are and trying to get or understand the nuances of what makes you, and then at the same time having the challenges of actually the people around you also don't know who you are and you don't know who they are, but there's all of this energy that is kind of battling with you. So you can't really immediately love yourself because you need to learn who you are. And you know what I'm saying? But you're also having to open the playground to the people around you, as much as they might have full on like opinions on who you are. If you can accept that you are in a journey of self-knowledge, of self-love, of understanding, accepting the corners of the things that you bring on earth, the person that you are, if you are comfortable with the process that you're still there, for a person to be able to project something that you don't even understand yourself, that's where you kind of, that's the battle, I'd say, with self-love. But the more you get to understand yourself again and give people around you chances, time as well. Time. It's not easy, but if you give people time and you also push to express yourself more than you trying to hide away, because yes, you're not understood, but you can't hide because you're not understood. You also don't understand why people are being like this to you. So you retracting is not solving anything. It's giving it time, it's being yourself, and it's seeing that, you know, with time people get to be curious of what it is and why. And then they will understand that actually this is a person beyond what I thought and what I was throwing their side of whatever beliefs I had of them. Do you know what I'm saying? So that is
100%.
more the challenge, you know? Yeah.
I love that. I love the emphasis on like knowing yourself. I think that's something that I advocate for a lot on my page. It's just, you know, having a period of time where you just get to know who you are. And I think for the rainbow family that exists in a heteronormative society, that looks very different, you know? Getting to know yourself, finding yourself and finding confidence in who that is, and then going ahead and sharing that with other people is a very, very different journey to someone who is born into a heteronormative society, is heterosexual themselves, and can just move around in that without having to question it or doubt it.
That, I love what you're saying there. I'm so sorry, love. Like that is one thing that for me, as an individual, I had to first accept as well. Like, around most of the people around me are born into the society and they fit in nicely and 100%. They understand where they fit in. So when I dangle around and I'm like a question mark, as much as they might show negative energy, they don't also know what they kind of show, because it's really, they're not sure what they're talking about. What they know for a fact is the fact that I work within the system. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's easy, it's comfortable, no one is challenging me. And it's also to say, like, as a queer individual, I'm not challenging the system because I'm different to you. You on your side must learn that I'm just not what you are. That's it. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not challenging the system by wearing heels. I'm not challenging the system by wearing a wig if I want to, or earrings. This is who I am. Just like you are that person. It's a matter of just putting yourself in a different, another person's shoes, I suppose.
100%. And I love that, because I feel like you own so much of who you are on your page. I want to recommend everyone go onto Is Siithembs page and view it, because just slayage after slayage after slayage. But I really want to ask you more about that, because I am a big fan of Is Siithembs Darling on YouTube. A subby, I am within the notification gang. And I was binging your videos in this past week, and I watched the video where you spoke about your coming out and the role that your English teacher played in that. You know, she was the one that gave you your first set of heels. And
oh
that
my
was,
gosh, you watched that!
I really was.
Girl! Oh, and you got that far in the video.
I got
God.
to the end.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, so you were saying that your English teacher played a really big role in you owning, you know, the way that you're going to go about expressing yourself in different spaces. And I think also in another video, when you were speaking about just being a queer individual in a township setting, I just want to, you know, pick your mind a little bit and just hear about a little bit about those experiences and how from that township setting where, you know, the queer community is not really understood or well represented, how did you go about navigating who you are and expressing that in that space?
Oh, girl, I'm literally like inside, I'm dying. I'm gonna start with the queer in the township, and then I'll go to the my English teacher. Please, darling, remind me. So when it comes to the queer, like the township, I think the blessing for me personally is maneuvering between the township and going on to the other side of the railway in Cape Town. So my school was Model C, so it wasn't in, so the culture, tradition, the ways things were done where I was being educated, and my home, it kind of gave me a platform for perspective. So every time I was at home, this is who I had to be, and I'm maneuvering from point A to the shop, point A to the taxi, point A to grandmother's house. I had to be this person for safety reasons. But when I get to school, no matter how much I can see there's questions, I still could be myself more. But I had to look at why I felt like that. Leave the fact that I'm doing it, but looking at the differences and the environments. That's when you kind of then can't, it's not you. You're not always the problem. And even if it's uncomfortable, it's literally, it's the fact that the people around you also are in a space and time where they are also growing in an understanding, whilst you also understanding who 100%. You are in the space, you know? So in the township, there comes a point where, yes, you'll do what you need to do, but after leaving, honestly, you get to express yourself more, and you get to be challenged, because it's like a person that came out when they were 18 and a person that comes out when they're 27 in their lives. That's two different, like, those are two different opportunities for a human being to express themselves and their time. And by the time that 18-year-old gets to 27, their world can really start becoming around what they see and what they imagine, and them living their life, rather than, let's say, a 27-year-old that still feels like this is the life I need to live, Like, it's a lot when you are still undercover and still trying to maintain everyone else's beliefs, or what you culturally are ought to do it, and how it's supposed to be culturally do it. And that's my thing about being queer also. It's, you're not dismantling culture. It's culture including everyone that belongs in the culture. So if culture, you know, if culture doesn't find a room for you, it means culture has, like, literally within the years or with time, it didn't recognize those people. And why? If I'm not recognized my culture and in the traditions, where do I belong? Even as a Black person, if you're saying with this, so I'm here now, where do I belong? And to be honest, on this side, I belong to the culture. I believe I do, and everything that I do, it's to accentuate, but as myself, not according to the 10 commandments, you know. But that's that when it comes to the township. And then with my English teacher, oh, she's such a special human being. I wish she was here watching. You know, it's finding that person that sees what you need, because we all need something, and you will always have that person that kind of instigated or shakes things up for you and gives you that extra little bit of confidence, you know. And even if it's your mom, even if it's your sister, your friend, that little hype can make all the difference, you know. And my teacher was literally that girl that she her knowledge of just people around, and the way she was able to always take herself out, it taught me to take myself out in situations and look, and then put myself back in and choose who I will be in this space. And the more, literally, the more snaps, I realized, no, even if it's one person that can see you and appreciates what you see, and every time you show it, every time you show it, that one person still sees it. That means you have one person that believes in your imagination, and imagination is the only way one can continue and survive from one step to the other and really experience this. So my teacher just was that, and I mean, she's also the one that brought the heels. No one did that for me prior to that. I used to kind of, borrow and just go to the room or the bathroom and just try it there and then pretend like it was never a thing. But for a person to say, these are yours, take them. I know you're a boy. Whatever world you're living, I'm giving it to you. And I'm saying, do whatever you want to do with them. They're not mine anymore. And she even said, I see you doing more with it than I'm doing. And I was like, is this a woman telling me this? Thank God, I love to hear this. It sounds glorious.
Yes.
So yeah, she's special like that. I feel like the more I spent time with her and the more she invested time with growing me and influencing me, because I'm sure she kind of understood at some point, but okay, I can see something is happening here. And yeah, she's just a gift, to be honest. She's such a beautiful gift.
Oh, she honestly is a gem, and I think we need more and more people like her to identify who we truly are, and create a platform for us to amplify that, or to experiment within that. But I feel like you raised such an important point just before, when you're talking about the township, about the fact that the rainbow community cannot not belong somewhere. When we're looking at cultural groups and we're looking at the existing systems that we have, and the rainbow group can't fit itself in any of the cultural groups or any of the cultural practices or any of the existing structures that we have, that we draw identity from, we've got a huge problem as a society. We've got to take several steps back and interrogate why those people have not been given room in those places, why our rituals, why our practices don't create space for people like that. And I think that's an incredibly important point, and I think that that's food for thought for anyone listening. Why do we think that our culture is so it doesn't create space for the rainbow family?
Yes. And also, like, with adding to your point, which is so beautiful, like the way you just bring these things back, you're just cooking them like bloody chocolate muffins, darling. For every action, there's always a reaction, right? We all know this golden rule. If you as a culture are denying a certain specific group within your culture, do you know that you are creating something? And if you're going to be oblivious to it, because if I'm rejected, I'm going to respond. If I don't fit in here, I need to create something, and I need to build something that's going to make me feel as, do you know what I'm saying? And that's when, again, we look at our second home, our second families, chosen families. Why is it way more common for queer individual to have a second family, being the almost main family? Because that's where the understanding is. When you're even at home, you can't even talk about all the things that you are really about, because it's going to be too weird. And then for me, as a queer individual, again, what is your story and family? Going back to like all of these different structures, they are there, we love them, but at the same time, do they need to be there? And what are they trying to hold and maintain? And what are we going to gain from maintaining this in all the years? And as young people, we're going to have children. Are we going to actively, like our parents are, go about certain things to maintain? What are we maintaining? What is that with maintaining? But at the same time, with your understanding, when you are obviously involved in your knowledge with whatever it is being maintained, how are you going to transcend it so that it makes sense to the children and they can also continue maintaining whatever's maintained, but with authenticity and you, and also the sense of belonging, let's say, to your culture, to your family, or to whatever group, to your religion, but with this understanding, also we human. As much as these systems exist, you also your personal take on it is way more important than the system itself. Because if you don't understand the system but you're going for it, what are you again maintaining?
What are you doing? 100%. I think that's an important point. I think that you've raised a good call to action for all of us. I think cultural practices are things that have been handed down to us from generation to generation, and we haven't really interrogated them too much. we've just said, oh, this is the way that things are done, so we're just going to continue doing them that way. And I think that there's a massive onus on us as a generation, not just for the rainbow community, but I think for a lot of marginalized groups like women as well, you know. I think that we've got to look at our cultural practices and ask, you know, what is the objective of these practices? You know, what are we honoring by practicing them? What are we perpetuating by creating platforms for them to persist until our children's generations and their children's generations? So I think that that really is true. We need to reevaluate why we do what we do, because it really is nonsensical to just do something because it's done. You know, now is the time not to be doing things just because it's done. I think that let's just but moving on from culture, because I could go on forever and ever and ever and ever.
I'm like, girl, you're always in, but okay, girl.
I really want to just find out from you, because you know, I think that maybe your teacher also played a really big role in this. I know, like on your Instagram, you describe your style as androgynous. And I think
look at this girl.
I'm a
Oh
stalker.
my
Listen,
God.
FBI.
No.
And I love androgynous style, but I think that people also don't understand androgynous expression of style too much, because they're like, okay, you know, you can wear femme colors, but you can't wear a dress. Or, you know, you can wear earrings, but you can't wear a skirt. And I think that you've gone against all of that, and you said, I'm going to wear whatever the hell I want to wear, because I want to wear
yes.
heels, rock those earrings.
My God, are there rules? I didn't know there's rules.
Let's break those rules. So I just think for anyone, irrespective of which, you know, class or group that society has boxed us into, how do you advise us to, you know, first understand ourselves, but then be confident enough in that to express that overtly for everyone to see?
Oh, I'm going to go back to something that I said earlier.
Okay.
You have an imagination, and within your imagination comes all the message. Well, I'm very spiritual when it comes to this part, because whatever you are constantly seeing or being shown within your reflection or within your movement, when you see something, examine your thoughts about it, your initial emotions, your reflexes, all these things comes in with who you are, and it's noting them, and it's looking at what it is, your weaknesses, or if you don't like or dislike something, why do you dislike it? If you love it so much, what is it doing? What are you longing for? Or beyond what you're longing for, what are you giving? If you're going to be of service, what are people, when they're around you, appreciate so much about you? Or what are you, or what is it? What is it? When you discover that, work on that. This is you working on yourself. Always, it becomes a little bit easier to, it's not 100% easy, but it becomes a little bit easy to leave the door having had accepted the nuances of who Bonolo is, or who Is Siithembs is, what Bonolo can do, what Is Siithembs can do. So that when you get out of the world, or when you start opening Instagram and start scrolling and seeing everything else in the world, it's not an attack on you kind of vibe. It's not like, no babes, it's not about you. That person is posting whatever, or this person is expressing themselves or doing that because they want to. And if you one day aspire, want to grow, and want to become, it's okay. But in terms of what is right now, you are accept it. That's who you are right now, and your story is yours. You know, your story is yours, which is, for me, the line "your story is yours" is the same as focus on your imagination, because that's the story. What you see is your gift to the world, because you're the only one that sees it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I love that. I also just think that it's so important for people to have role models who you know, can exemplify that. You know, I think that it's so easy to be like, you know, just be yourself and just do it. But I think 10 years ago, for you to be on Instagram, even though Instagram didn't exist, but I mean, just work with me here. You know, there were individuals like you who are just owning who you are and being unapologetic about the way that you're presenting Siithembs, you know. That's created such a massive platform for a lot of individuals to say, well, if Siithembs can do it, so can I, you know. And I love that we're finding purpose in who we are, because you being who you are and expressing it the way that you do is really a purpose. A lot of people are drawing inspiration from that. A lot of people are drawing community from that. I'm seeing Marcel saying hi.
I'm like, hi, Marcel, darling.
But no, I think that's incredibly like so powerful. I always say to people, you don't have to be the mouthpiece for every issue, but you should be able to say me too to every single issue. There has to be someone speaking about something, you know? And I think that when we find the confidence within ourselves to find the thing that we're passionate about, the thing that, you know, sparks joy within us that, you know, other people might not want to speak about or might not want to express, do that and, you know, own that, create space for that, so that other people who you might not have thought wanted to do the same thing are going to look at you and be like, oh, you know what, me too, you know? And I think that's
girl, you are speaking all of it, to be honest, literally.
But I want to move on to you in the industry and what you do, you know? I think that, you know, just Siithembs as a person, I love you because I feel like everything that flows from you, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so Siithembs. And I feel like everyone should reach that point in their lives where you can look at their body of work and identify the person within that work. So I want to speak to you about that. Oh, yes. And find out more from you, you know, how have you infiltrated or poured yourself into your work so that it can also be an extension of who you are, you know? How have you gone about marrying yourself and the spaces that you fill, the work that you do, and everything that just flows from you? Tell me.
Oh, it's just, you know what, I can listen to you speak the whole day because I just look at you and I get lost and I'm like, you need to go back, Siithembs. You need to stop looking at the hair, stop looking at the eyebrows and the lipstick, go back. But when it comes to, sorry, thank you so much for that question, my love. Going looking at the industry, that word, it sounds so hectic. I'm literally the boy next door, darling. But...
No, don't sell yourself short. Don't do that. Not on this page. We don't do that here.
But it's going back to time and going back to you as a little boy, and taking and every little lesson that you learn, allowing yourself to not only grow with age, but also your wisdom and who you are and your responses to the world, your services to the world, and your career comes out of that. You know, if I look at Siithembs as a little boy, I would always just, if I think about how I would affect in spaces, like I loved playing. I really loved being on the streets, you know, like all these different games, but I also understood kind of the effect that I had around the people. Like, if Siithembs is not here, we might as well go home, no game today, because what's the game all about?
Yeah.
You know, because I understood also my role when I'm in the game. I'm not just also one of the people playing the game. My role is to also hype everyone, bring the competition, bring that kind of stuff. And then you get to high school, obviously it's no longer games. You're kind of now in this weird time of your life, and you're like, life, we're going to leave the space. What kind of impact or what do we want to do beyond this space? But using what's in this space to develop that person. And when I look at high school again, being in arts, and wanting to always speak, being on stage, and being that, like, somehow, no matter how, I found myself doing one of those things, even if it's being on the field, and even if I'm not going to be number one there, but bring that energy, that step. Guys, even if I don't win, I am going to compete. It's for the spirit. Let's do it. I'm going to learn something. You know what I'm saying? Just that energy. So it's always, so understanding myself that I'm that person all the time. It's longing. You're not longing. It's kind of trying to discover how can I do it beyond these doors, on a professional and artist. If you can see, this is how artistic you are and how artistic you've been, or this is how academic you are and how academic you've been. And when you, with your visions and what you want to give to the world, or how you believe you're going to be of service to the world, you kind of find the things are magnetic. They're going to pull you there. It's dance, you know. I remember like applying for university again. I know when I told that dropping out story, I just skimmed through that part. There was a part where I honestly wanted, for me, the logical side was like, go and study law. You're going to get the money. You can already see the company that you want to work for. And I've done so many things to try to make sure my resume looks cute. To say, guys, I've literally been watching you, and all I need to do obviously study, and you know, but dance, even though it's so weird, there were so many factors that were thrown me left, right, and center, which is obviously art and I'm passionate about, in why I shouldn't do it. And it's like, I get it, but there's that one thing, it's so weird, it just overrides everything. You believe in it, and that will then amalgamate in the different forms of how you then express yourself beyond dance. But knowing that dance comes from your body and is a form of expression, and what else can we do with the body to tell stories, to be understood, to bring that message across? Do you know what I'm saying? So
100%.
For me, that's how I've kind of, like a jelly, have gone into, again, I'm still growing and learning, and building a brand, a personal brand, but it's coming from Siithembs high school, after college, and to today. And it's, again, it's lessons and responses, and seeing really, when you give this, what impact do you have? And is that the impact you want to have through your art? And if it's yes, which for me it's been yes, is continue and learn how to do it better and better and better. So yeah.
I love that. I also just love the fact that you've drawn attention to, you know, expressing yourself in the spaces that you already occupy. I think that often when we have passions or we have dreams, we're always like, okay, well, I can't really be who I want to be here. I've got to get to that place first, and then I can be the dance that I want to be, or the creative that I want to be, or the intellectual that I want to be. But I think that when you just maximize the spaces that you already occupy, you know, you're already giving platform for yourself to grow in who you are. So I think that's so important. You know, a lot of people are on some, you know, maybe when I ABC or when I get XYZ, I'll be able to do it.
I love your maximize point. Yeah, sorry for that. I love your maximize point, because it's so weird. I'm just going to put out there, sometimes when you do certain things, especially now that our stage is no longer just theater, our stage is basically, as an artist, is social media. You choose what to do with the space, but 100%. You will always be uncomfortable, as there will always be a certain degree of uncomfort, but it's also just allowing space. Like, there's this advice I've been giving by a woman that I met. It's in some weird dance gala. She said, as an artist, for you to find really your success and where your niche or your audience that will gun and do anything for you, you have to give the people the power to say no. So if the person doesn't know and hasn't seen and has no idea, then they can't make that choice. Once you 100%. Throw that dance on heels, you dance around, you will see, okay, out of 7,000 followers, only 2 like it. I get it. If I still continue liking it, I will then creatively make a decision on how I'm going to use this talent of mine so that it can work in a different way. Clearly, this platform doesn't work. But you need to know that. You need to give Bonolo the power and the platform to say, 100%. No, Siithembs, I don't like it. You know?
I saw a quote recently where, because I enjoy writing, and there was a quote on writing that says, you can't edit a blank page. And I think that speaks a lot to what you're saying, you know? You
Literally,
can't correct what
I
you
love
haven't
that.
used.
I actually love that. I'm going to write it on my calendar. We cannot edit a blank page. I love writing random quotes. Thank you so much for that.
100%. But I think that just speaking into the various passions that people who are listening may have, you can't correct, you can't progress in something you haven't produced. So until you create a platform for yourself to in some way share a little piece of yourself with the rest of the world, you'll never be able to grow in that. And I think that that's so important, that even though they may seem like insignificant spaces, it could be in your household, it could be within your group of friends, it could be on social media, it could be on YouTube, it could be in your place of work, it could be in your school, but finding a platform for you to express and share that little bit of yourself that, you know, really interests you. You know, when you go and sleep at night and your mind doesn't want to switch off, it's all those thoughts, all those ideas that are bubbling that you're not letting, you know, see the light of day. We want to see those things, but you can't grow and progress in those things until you share them. So I love that so much. But we are going to ask questions. Sorry, let me just see what everyone has been saying because I feel like I've been mising the comments.
Yes, don't mice the people. Actually, let's see what the people have been saying together.
While I check for that, I just want to encourage anyone, because we're going to wrap up very, very soon. If you'd like to ask any questions to Siithembs, please do pose the questions now while I head over and just check whatever points we haven't touched on yet.
I think I wanted to actually.
Sorry, I'm trying to like wave at everyone. I'm like multitasking in so many different spaces. Hi everyone. Hi. Siithembs, before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to share with us? Is there anything that you just want to touch on?
For me, firstly, if it's anything that I want to share with this, the rain and the rainbow, going back to what I said at the beginning, the rainbow, when it comes to Siithembs, is beyond the LGBTQ community. It's the rainbow within you as a person. And the beauty of the colors in the rainbow is, it's especially, and I'm attracted to this, when I can see a person is giving themselves a chance, when you take the time as an individual to really learn of what creature you are on this earth, because you could easily see yourself as just one of those human beings that can just die and disappear and doesn't matter, or you could understand that within every space that you go to find yourself or station yourself in, you have an impact. There's someone looking at you, even if you're not saying anything, they're drawing energy, they are communicating with you. There's something that you are giving, and the more chances you give yourself to engage with another person, or to see the beauty and to clap hands to really beautiful discoveries whilst you discovering, to learning, to really, for me, it's again, the biggest thing, give yourself a chance, because the more you give yourself a chance, you realize how it's so easy to give everyone else a chance. And when you give everyone a chance, the life that you live is filled with color, because I can't imagine a lot of things that I like, a lot of things that I've kind of discovered within conversations with people, and how people themselves have inspired the journey that has already been there, that was planted, or the vision was there, but they will say something, then you put something into perspective, then you make a decision, then you keep it moving. It doesn't have to be career, it could just literally have to do with self-confidence in the space, or of service, what you're again giving to the people, or literally just anywhere. So it's when you give people chances, they can also marinate with your vision and your imagination and really who you are and who they are. So give yourself a chance, give people a chance as well.
Oh, I love that. Just on that, because I feel like Jenny's asked a really good question that I think ties into what you're saying. The question is, how do you get comfortable in a place of uncomfort or discomfort?
I like that question. That's a beautiful question. I've learned when I'm uncomfortable, everyone else is also uncomfortable. I've learned that. When I'm uncomfortable, everyone else is also uncomfortable. So how do I overcome that? I need to be the comfortable one, no matter how uncomfortable it is. If I came in wearing heels and the first thing I get is weird eyes, is obviously everyone is responding. If I don't change the way I'm going in and go to that bar, for instance, and buy my Savannah and have a sip and go back, eventually the heart, the mind that is far and is observing, it melts into whatever I'm presenting, because now it's no longer about them. It's not their choice. I'm the one that's giving you a show, darling, and it's my show. And as an artist, and as an artist, you have to be comfortable with your show. Not everyone's gonna like your show, because your show is not everyone. It doesn't really touch everyone's interest, and it's exactly who you are. Bonolo, not everyone's gonna love you, but Tembele is melting over you, and it's you having to see how can we, as people that really are loving each other, in support of what we do, and really are trying to build it with each other, what can we really do together, just as two people, to uplift what the things two people can do. It can bring groups and groups.
It's zaka 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 zoom boom boom. Literally, you can't get it wrong.
I love that. I think that that's so true. When you move into a space that makes you uncomfortable, if you're going to present who you are with hesitation, other people are also going to be hesitant to receive it.
They can be hesitant, galore.
You've got to be confident that this is who I am. This is my work of art, and I'm going to share it with everyone. And whether or not you like it, it's not going to change that it's coming from me, and that it's my work. 100%. I just want to see. Sorry, I'm looking at all the comments.
Girl, you are working overtime, Yanka. Let me try helping you, but you also need this.
Oof.
Is that the only question? It looks like the only question.
I'm giving everyone 2 more seconds, and then we are going to wrap up.
Do you want to wrap up? I wanted to say also, like, the trial and error, it's such a thing that is in my head. I don't know how to put it into perspective with the rain and rainbow. There'll always be rain. That's the beauty about everyone. You, Bonolo, myself, and whoever's watching this. We need rain for the rainbow. So the trial and error, you giving things like, again, a chance. And also, if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean it's not yours. If you try it another way, if you try seeing things really in as many different perspectives as you can, it really helps you. And it helps you even with, because time is changing a lot of things and is exposing so much about people. And with the internet also, we're knowing way too much, but that's the beauty of it. You as an individual will suffer if you can't allow things to be what they are, because you're going to be so stuck with what is in your head and you're not going to move. And if it's anything now, I've learned, people are moving, they're going. Even with trends, I see it, I make a decision of it. Do I like it? Do I not? Am I going to be part of it? And am I just going to be a consumer or created in this? People make decisions and they move. So if you just stuck on 1970, you're going to experience 1970 in 2020, and it's going to be more daunting for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Before you share your closing words, I just want to add to that, because I remember there's something that my dad is constantly, like, sharing to me or bickering in my ear, is be a news maker and not a news reader. Be responsive. Don't just consume. And I think that, the world, we just all suffer such a great injustice if no one ever got to know anything about you as an individual. What are your thoughts? What are your ideas? What are things that excite you? What are things that upset you? Because things that excite you and things that upset you are equal platform for amazing works of art to flow from you. So be a responsive person. Respond to those little cues in your mind that are saying, I'm interested about this, I'm really, really upset about that, and express it and share it. I think that there's so much room, but I think something that I've learned as an individual is that everyone is also just trying to push their own hustle. I think it's incredibly uncomfortable because it feels like, I'm new at this, I don't know what I'm doing, but everyone is also new and don't know what they're doing in their respective industries, in their respective passions, in their respective, initiatives, whatever it is that they're trying to breathe life into. You're not the only one. I think that when insecurity makes you feel, or isolates you, because it makes you feel like you're the only one who's going through this, and you're not. You're not the only one who's insecure about your passions. You're not the only one who's insecure about, like, maybe a song that you've recorded or a poem that you've written or a dance that you've choreographed. You're not the only one, but you're the only one not sharing it. Everyone else is sharing it, so why aren't you sharing it?
Yeah, man, no way, nah. Bonolo.
So before we leave, and I just want to thank you so much, Siithembs, for joining us and imparting so much wisdom and inspiration. I think that I've drawn so much confidence in myself from watching you be confident in who you are. So I really, really appreciate that. And I just want to encourage you to just continue being you, continue just illuminating that rainbow that we all can look to after the rain, And I just want to ask you if there's anything else that you want to share with us before we wrap up. You're welcome to share that now.
Darling. From me, I'm going to first thank you for the space. It's, as an individual, again, beyond being part of the Rainbow family, it's being seen. If you feel like everything that you were doing, someone is watching, and everything that you've been sharing, I'm like, girl, What? I did not have that perspective. I've learned a lot also on your side in terms of how you see it and what you gauging from what I'm saying, because also I could take it for granted a lot that everyone is on the same page and this is how everyone is moving, and I'm here, khata, boom, you also go, khoy. No, we also, everyone is having a different experience, and our responsibilities again in spaces are very different. And this whole platform that you've also created with the close friends, it's so beautiful. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share a little bit of my story to everyone that is watching. And to everyone that is watching, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. I've been loving the hearts. I love hearts. They just, oh God, beautiful people. I do appreciate you being attentive, and also just the questions that we asked. And those that are taking notes, darling, please take them and put them on the wall and make sure they change your life. To virtual spaces and what they're doing in 2020, and to you leading Bonolo, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And like Sitem said, thank you so much to everyone who's joined Close Friends. I think just one more thought that like popped into my mind, you know, those last minute thoughts is that I think that particularly like just navigating in a virtual space, everyone is always trying to aspire to fame. And I think that that's such a vain, not vain, but it's such a, it's not the greatest goal to have. I think that if we can change our perspective and realize that if your work can impact just one person, you know, inspire one person, bring comfort to one person, create community with just one person, you have changed that one person's world, you know. I think changing the world and the way that it's presented is that all 8 billion people have to be like, yes, love that poem. Yes, love that dance routine. Yes, love, you know, the bars that you were putting on.
It's so hard. But
the reality is that, you know, we've got to change the worlds around us. And there's multiple spaces for that. So I really just want to encourage you to change your world and the people's world around you by sharing yourself. I think that there's so much value in that. Don't underestimate, you know, the beauty and the value of who you are. I just want to encourage anyone who's listening, please, 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 if you are sitting on something and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if anyone's going to like it, you know, just put it out there. Have faith in who you are and what it is, to just put it out there and give us a chance as consumers to support that and to also like that. So with that being said, we've come to the end of Close Friends. I really appreciate it. Oh, and I always get so sad when we reach this point. But thank you so much.
The way we went into it, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at my laptop now. I'm like, we were supposed to play music because I heard you saying that you forgot the music, and I was willing to start it. But girl, you are fire, you are flame. Like, I'm supporting you every step of the way. Yeah, this was beautiful. Like, it's work, and I really see the effort that you've put in. Again, like we spoke on our emails, but I also just want to. You just don't stop. Find your people and bring them to Close Friends. We want to watch more. We want to be moved more. We want to be inspired. Actually, the only way we can grow in this world, especially today in Africa, in South Africa, it's helping one another. It's literally we're helping one another, because if we want to be seen by the world, we have to see each
one another.
One another, yeah.
I love that. Nolly's saying, why is this ending? I'm so sorry, babe. So there's going to be a Close Friends next Sunday. And Close Friends next Sunday is going to be a really, really good one. I'm excited for it. So please do join us. Siithembs, once again, thank you so much for joining the Close Friends family. We are really appreciative that you could come. To everyone, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And I will see you next Sunday. Bye.
Bye.